We have the research project there through the Department of Agriculture and through the strategic studies last year, strategic and policy studies last year. So we've been given a year's grant, 100,000 to do a bit of research, and I suppose the topic was women in agriculture. I suppose if we go into the people that are making it happen, so we have myself, Dr. Martina Roach from Maynooth, and we have Professor Annie McIntosh. So we have a good diversity of people then within the project. So myself coming from a good agricultural background, we have Dr. Martina Roach then, geographical background and rural Ireland, and we have Professor Annie McIntosh from Teagasc, who is a good social side of things. And with that, we created a project herself. So highlighting pathways to empower rural women to stay sustainable and equitable livelihoods in farming. I'm sure many of you know the importance of women in agriculture, and also maybe the lack of recognition in some places for agriculture. And I suppose this is a major part coming from the project origin was mainly in terms of the Women in Agriculture group gave a proposal to the department there on the interventions for CAP strategic plan to try and incorporate more women into agriculture, and in more in terms that we already know that there's women in agriculture, but more in the documentation of that. So I suppose you know yourselves, the CAP 2023-27 refers specifically to gender and highlighting the need for gender equality to increase participation. The group also urged the Department of Agriculture to set a target for increasing the number of female farmers to 25%. And the new Irish CAP strategic plan then has a strong gender equality focus and a number of key initiatives in place for existing inequalities, reissuing the food vision for 2030. So this is a huge part of the project. So again, it's more about encouraging women that's already existing within farming. As a lecturer myself in agricultural science, I know that there's plenty of females entering the education system anyway. However, the longevity then of women staying in farming and actively farming is much lower than obviously our gender counterparts. So I suppose for the research project itself, it's a 12-month project. Again, we're looking to provide research and data to support policy reformation going forward. So we've already, some of you would be familiar with the TAMS grant that the Women in Agriculture Stakeholders Group actually developed or initiated for the Department of Agriculture. So creating a similar bias for women in agriculture as do young farmers for the TAMS grant. So going forward, then we want to complement that and add on where we can. So at the moment, we're actually, so we've hired a research assistant and a postdoc assistant, and currently we're looking to set up, we're recruiting for farming focus groups. So we're looking for advice to collect on top of data that is already there, existing data that might have not been utilised in a gender analysis way, but also to seek advice then from current women actively farming in both on farm across all sectors. So you can see there a little leaflet there on the right. So we're hoping to hold focus groups across the country to take representation of the geographical analysis of women farming across the country, because we all know the diversity of farming sectors and the land type, and how the change across Ireland can dictate the overall farming type as well. So and the dynamics. So we're hoping to do these focus groups then over the next month in November. So they'll both be online and in person. And with those focus groups, we have a multi-actor stakeholder focus group as well, where we'll be taking advice from industry leaders and people creating environments or manipulating or have that power to provide aid for women in farming situations. Also, we're trying to collect a database that's there So we have a database with the CSO and with the Teagasc Farm Survey. And there is existing data there, but has not been previously used for gender analysis. So we're currently utilising that data. So we actually have over 100 people already signed up for these focus groups. We're looking for all ages, men and women across all different sectors. And I suppose the big part here is to actually get women to recognise their roles, their important roles within farm, and to actually, I suppose, that passive nature of that can be with women, obviously not all women, but in terms of the recognition of the importance of those roles as well. So going forward to ensure, growing rural populations, and to ensure the overall sustainability of food production across Ireland, we need to improve the gender equality. We also, an awful lot of our industry is under severe pressure as well to represent women across Ireland, the agricultural industry. So for the likes of your co-ops, they're taking a certain percentage of the panel or the committee needs to be women, represented by women. However, the policies that are there don't actually support, not enough women actually own land potentially to qualify to get onto that panel or committee, and also and have previously not been supported to do so. So we need to basically put that in writing and bring it back to the department and advise further going on. So if anyone has any questions, you're more than welcome to take a snip there, take my email, my number there, or even the pig there at the end to scan, and it's just a short survey. So not everyone from whoever does these surveys will be recruited for the focus groups, just in terms of size and location and where we can go. But they will be, the small bit of data that is collected through that will be used for this research, and will also the people that have signed up to that will be kept updated throughout the length of this project as well. So we've made a good few connections. So we already have a good range of connections between Maynooth, Teagasc and NTU, but we've also, we're trying to link out to more and more. So I know what you've seen a bit of we had a part in the newsletter there as well recently. So it'd be great to get in touch with any of you if anyone has any input or any advice going forward.